everyone.
What's going on, wild ones? Been a minute.
It's been a minute, but we have been working so hard to make sure we stay consistent. Remember those words from last episode?
And we meant it. We're here back again, ready to talk about just a new topic, what's going on, and just another positive message just to kind of get us through this week.
And our hope today is that we are going to help you think about ways to create time for self compassion and well being. And so we want to give a gentle reminder that today's episode is an invitation not to fix, not to push, not to become anything new, but to soften, to return, and to remember that you are worthy of care right now, exactly as you are, even with everything going on in the world.
I feel like a lot of times when people start to care about themselves, other people they may be quick to judge and say, "Oh, well, you're being selfish. You're just thinking about yourself." But when you think about it, yes, I need to think about myself and take care of myself in order to be able to help others. Sometimes we help others to our own detriment. So you want to make sure like taking care of yourself is not selfish as long as it's balanced and just conscious.
So if you've been showing up for everyone else while quietly setting yourself aside, this episode is for you. And I'm definitely included in this episode here. So let's take a collective breath and dive in. I'm curious, what does self compassion really look like?
Self compassion looks like taking a moment to pause. And my two favorite words that I like to say for self compassion is self care. Taking care of yourself, taking care of resting your weary battery. It looks like when your body's asking you to stop. So if you feel that pain, in your neck or just in your knees, and you've just been pushing and pushing because you're like, I have to get everything done. I have to get everything done for everyone else or I'm a failure. Like, no, it's okay to listen to your body, to listen to yourself and stop and pause, you know what? And speaking of talking to people, it's okay to say no without over explaining. Just set those solid boundaries of, unfortunately, I'm not able to do this. No. And you don't have to go, well, no, because I can't, it's like, no. And that's it. And that should be enough.
Remembering that no is a complete sentence. I know a lot of the women out there are trying to get used to that, but not just women. I think that's not fair. Any people pleasers in the listening world, any wild ones who are stuck with the people pleasing traits, we don't often recognize that no can be a complete sentence. No, I can't do that today. I'm so sorry.
And
And
that's it.
move on.
And that's it.
We don't always have to over explain or give everybody all of our information. And that's the part where sometimes I think we get stuck.
So you have a good analogy of, setting, again, no is also setting boundaries. So it's keeping people at certain levels. So you kind of gave me an analogy of what a therapist said to you is this person, are they out? Think of a house, and then the inner room is your most intimate sanctum, right? And then so you have some people that are out down the street, you have some people that you invite into your house, you have some people that are in the same living room, and then you have people that are intimately in the room. But those different levels, again, regardless of if that person, even if that person is in the room with you, that person that's like, hey, uh my closest best friend, and yes, I share everything with you, it's still okay to tell them no, whether they're, how, if you know them for 20 years, if you know them for 2 days, it's still setting that boundary and just making sure that they are accepting of that. Because if they're not, then you may want to reevaluate, your relationship.
100%. I think what you're referring to is like the relational house, right? And
Yeah.
if we think about like giving out tickets, there's only so many front row tickets,
Mm.
right? So there's only so many tickets that we can send to people that invite them to our block, that invite them to our kitchen to dine with. And there's even more limited tickets for those people who come into our intimate space, like the bedroom, right? Like we think about the room as the most intimate space, the most vulnerable space, and we want to keep those tickets very, very low. Um, and we need to be thinking about who we're bringing into our relational houses. This time of year, this time in 2026, I think it would be amiss for us to not mention that things are really hard out there. The world is looking scary and uncertain, and it's requiring us to think even more about who we're bringing in to our relational house, and trying not to abandon your needs, your love for yourself because other people aren't getting it, you know?
Yeah, and also to the people that you're inviting into your house are also just recognizing that yes, self compassion is not selfishness, but also supporting your self compassion. So, if, hey, I can't make it today, I need to take a mental break, or I need to do some self care. I'm gonna go and get my my nails done, or I'm gonna go get a massage. But
I
this
love when Marcus gets his nails done. They're always on fleek.
and my hair did because my hair looks great, my nails look great. Don't hate. Hashtag don't hate. Just saying.
Sorry, but I mean, yeah, definitely. You have to make sure to get your nails done. And shout out to any men out there, by the way, who actually do get mani pedis, right? All us women, we see you taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's an act of self compassion and self care.
So yeah, again, self compassion though it can show up in just small daily choices. So if you're ever just feeling overwhelmed with life's activities or at work, or if you just have too many tasks, just put them down, stop, go outside, take a breath, and take a pause. There's always like we always have this perception like, oh, if I'm not doing something, I'm not being productive. That's not true. Being mindful and doing participating in self-care for yourself is a great activity to recharge your battery, because again, if you let your battery chart run down, then you're no good to anyone. So you want to make sure that you're always looking to charge your battery, take that pause, take those daily reflections, stop doom scrolling, because doom scrolling, it just can lead to more anxiety. Do something, arts, crafts, write in a journal, wreck a journal. There's a thing where you can take a journal, you write in it, and you just rip it up, so do something that is actually adding to your positive mental health, instead of trying to get away from just staring at your phone, which cannot be the best as far as like giving yourself self-compassion. It's just giving yourself self agita.
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 Agita. Has
Yeah.
anyone watched
Sopranos.
Sopranos?
If you have, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Tony Soprano's always like, I always got agita, agita. And then when I first started dating Susie, I was like, you're giving me agita. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, watch Sopranos and you'll know.
I couldn't say it right, so I called it
It's
agita.
agita. I'm like, it's not agita. Watch Sopranos and you'll know what it means. So,
Well,
yeah.
thanks for coming into our inner thoughts,
Inner TED
because
Talk.
that actually like transitions us into like our next segment, which is really thinking about like how do we have self-compassion with our inner voice and our ruminating thoughts. Um because we are not kind to ourselves when we talk to ourselves. We are not kind when we think about things in our brain. And that comes from a very primal place. Like, if y'all want to know about the nervous system and try to get that reset, reach out to Marcus or I. Like, we would love to coach you through that. Excuse me. But, really, this comes from a place of our brain trying to always protect us. But we don't need the same type of protection that our ancestors, our primal, like caveman and woman, needed. And now those ruminating thoughts oftentimes just replay mistakes that we've made. They replay negative questions about our self worth, and we ruminate on so much. And when you think about social media, the things that you're engaging in, doom scrolling, how is all of that contributing to that inner voice and those ruminating thoughts you're having?
And also too, self-compassion, it begins when we notice that voice and we gently, again, keyword gently, interrupt it. You don't have to argue with it, because when you argue you get back in this just endless loop of just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So that's not going to be productive. And then don't shame it, but you want to acknowledge it, and but interrupt it and say, why would I speak would I speak this way to someone I love? Because you should have self love. So if you're speaking to that voice and say, instead of saying, why would I do that? You want to say, you're doing the best you can. Give yourself positive affirmations. Write down positive affirmations. I am worthy. I am special. And it sounds cheesy, but it goes a long way to pump yourself up. Be your biggest cheerleader. No one else wants to cheer you on. I tell, Susie, I'm like, she's like, "Oh, you're really full of yourself." I'm like, "Hey, if I'm not gonna, who else is gonna be if I'm not? I'm my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan, and my biggest supporter. So you want to pump yourself up, and then just tell that voice, hey, I'm not gonna treat myself the way I wouldn't treat someone else that I love.
I appreciate that. And you are such a good cheerleader for yourself. I think you're also just a great cheerleader for other people in your life and, the clients that you coached. Me as your wife, you cheer up your friends, and um it's something that is one of your key strengths and something that we can all practice and try to get better at. And trust me, I get it. Like, we are all tired, we are all trying to do our best and try to make ourselves healthy, try to make the world a better place. I had a client the other day, and they were just saying, like, I just want to be happy. I just want to have an easier life. I don't want to live in fear. And those are some of the most basic requests I've heard of someone. And I had to remind them, like, you're trying, you are doing a good job. And, remind them that they're doing the thing. And we have to know that sometimes doing it doesn't always mean instant energy, instant change. But there's my key word, you guys: consistency is key.
And again, it's that old saying, you got to crawl before you walk. And sometimes people are like, I'm trying my best, and sometimes you may have heard in a negative situation or some like a toxic past relationship, or maybe you're in that relationship already. Well, your best isn't good enough. You know what? If you've
Has anyone ever said that to you?
maybe one person that I know that will be named remain unnamed for this in case it comes.
Unnamed, and we know they aren't listening to our podcast, but they're someone that we keep in our relational house for sometimes unknown reasons.
Entertainment, and they're
But
entertaining.
I mean, how did it feel when someone said your best isn't good enough?
Well, I try to keep our podcast free of curse words. Let's just say every curse word under the book went through my head, and I'm not a violent person, but I wanted to take, like, in that moment, if I were in the WWE, I would definitely have taken the chair and just hit him over the head with it, because I'm like, I worked on this project for when they said your best isn't good enough for a month. Like, I was working on it, I was coordinating it, and it didn't kind of pan out the exact way it was supposed to. Long story short, we're all supposed to get like rooms all together, and this
But
one,
your best wasn't good enough, and
but
the rooms were not
they
next to
were
each
not
other.
next to each other, and then it took every ounce of fiber to say, well, do an apology. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, and just walk away. So it's just not an apology, but I was not gonna apologize. So, anyways, that, if someone says that to you, your best is good enough. Okay, you tried, and that doesn't mean you need to give up. It just means, hey, we call it for the day. Let's try again tomorrow. This is why pencils have erasers. Let's try again. I mean, what is it, the infamous adage? Like, I think Albert Einstein, how many tries did it take for him to get EMC squared? How many tries did it take for Edison to get the light bulb? Go down history. You can go down to every single invention. It was not done on the first, second, third, fourth, even hundredth try. They kept going and going. So again, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself that self compassion. You're standing your ground and saying, yes, my best is good enough.
And definitely, bring it to other people's attention, because sometimes the people around us, they forget that we can change. You can absolutely teach an old dog new tricks, and it's not to compare us to to dogs by any means, but honestly, if you are trying to change and you are giving yourself compassion and you are doing the best you can, and everyone still wants to stick you with your old labels, your old behaviors, let them know, hey, I'm trying here. I am doing my best. And I would really appreciate if you didn't bring up that old me because that doesn't help serve the new me.
And change isn't instant. You look at the beach, right? I'm going to use this as an example. There was sand on the beach, obviously, right? But that it took how many thousands of years for water to wash upon it, like just to make it that fine coarse sand. Or if you look at the rocks that have crystals in it that form through the molten hot magma, the what are they,
Magma.
the geo rocks?
The geo rocks? Are you talking about like at Knott's Berry Farm where you
Yeah,
crack them open?
yeah, and they have the crystals in them.
Oh, yeah, like amethyst and
Yeah,
stuff.
so that change, it doesn't happen. It's a process, right? It doesn't just happen
Very
instantly.
true.
So you have to. It takes time for the all the conditions to happen perfectly for the lava to get in it. Look it up. It's an awesome process. But
Science.
science, right? She blinded me with science. But what I'm trying to say is that
Not the
change.
musical muse.
Yeah, not that's not my song. But yeah, but change, is it's takes time. And last but not least, look at the beautiful, beautiful butterfly. He started off as a caterpillar. The metamorphosis takes a
The
while.
metamorphosis, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while for that beautiful butterfly to come out. And so what I'm trying to say is find your inner beautiful butterfly. You may be a caterpillar right now, but you know what? Go through your metamorphosis of positive relationship building, self compassion, loving yourself, surrounding yourself with love and hope, and then that positive change will come
And I
for.
think when you like transform into that beautiful, beautiful butterfly, where does that come from?
It's a movie. I think it's Bug's Life. One of
Oh, it
them.
might be Bug's Life.
Yeah, we have to look it up later
Um,
and post.
yes, isn't he the caterpillar? He's like the
Yeah,
guy that munches on all the food.
yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely a caterpillar right now. We have been on some chips and dip munching, just trying to make it through the weeks with all this stress and chaos. But when we have self compassion and we start to believe that we are so much more than the things we consume, whether it be chips and dip, the news, the social media, other things that we're consuming, we live in such a consumerism world. When we move past that consumption and really look inward, we have enough within us. We already know our true self. We already have our truest version of us within us. So we just have to go in, right? Kind of think of that caterpillar cocooning, go inward, be with yourself, find those meditative spaces, go to therapy, go to coaching, go to church, whatever it is, go inward, work on yourself, and burst out with these beautiful wings, wings that are unique to you, almost as unique as your fingerprint. And really think about letting your true self shine and let others see that too. Because when others see your self compassion, the hope is that they would want to give that to themselves as well. And if we all had more self compassion, how could we have more compassion for others?
Yeah, you want to have self compassion. Like you said, it starts with self compassion to be able to give self compassion out. You want to have that solid foundation. So if you are like, I don't know if I can do this, or what does self compassion look like, and I don't know if I can do. Start with a solid base. Start with taking 5 minutes a day just to say a positive affirmation. I am worthy. That's it. Just wake up, say it, once a day. That's all it starts. And then, you know what? Even if you don't believe it in the beginning, you'll start to believe it because it's just going to become secondhand nature. So, start telling yourself, I am worthy. I am wonderful. I will excel at whatever it is. That is your base. That is your foundation. And then build up from there. Now, what is it are you trying to accomplish? So this is a style that I like to use with my life coaching because again, without a solid base, you're just going to topple at the beginning. It's like the pyramids, they've been around forever, because that base, that foundation is solid. That oak tree that's been around for 1,000 years, those roots, you want solid roots that are just so planted into the ground that even in the biggest of hurricanes, even in the biggest of storms, that tree is still standing. Not because of the branches, not because of the leaves, no, because it has a solid foundation. Even though it's wavering in that wind, it is not going to fall over. And that's what I want you to do, my wild ones, is have your solid foundation, be as solid as an oak, build that foundation of self-worth, self-compassion, and self-love.
Wow, I don't even know how to follow that up because that was
Yeah.
so beautifully put. I think maybe that like is the transition for like if you are that strong tree, those strong roots, is there a musical
Ba ba ba, musical
muse?
muse, insert song. Do we have a
Insert
song yet?
song? You do? Oh no, no
No,
one has like
I know.
volunteered to create a
I,
little intro and outro for our musical muse segment.
I think we had one, but we're still. If you are out there and you have an idea that you want to put for a musical muse, as far as like an intro song, message us on the comments or
Yeah,
on.
what's your email that they can send it? You're the musical muse expert. So,
It's my first name Marcus, last initial D at luminous self.com. So Marcus D at luminous-self.com. So message me or email me directly, and then give us if you have a clip it, or clip
a
of the song that you
clip
want
it.
to do, a clip it
Clip it. Is that like the old ones like that
on
we
the
used?
word. Hi, I'm Clippy, and I'm here to ruin your life.
Oh, Clippy.
No, but just if you can clip, record it on your phone or however the kids are doing it these days, just so we can hear it, and then hey, maybe your intro will be our permanent uh,
Musical muse segment.
segment. So, but
But
speaking of,
with that, I'm
yes.
like, what's the song that puts into a musical or what song gives the musical tone for what you said, which was, you know, have strong roots?
So this is one of my favorite artists. She is like a bluesy jazz rock type artist. Is ZZ Ward. I think this is the first time she's made her way on the musical muse. But ZZ Ward, she has so many hits out there, such a wonderful sound. Check her out. But this particular song that she did is called Giant. So, essentially, she's, it's like feeling like a giant. I'm walking over walls, like nothing, pretty much, nothing can stop me. I'm just feeling so not full of myself in a arrogant way, but, just in a, without ego, which you can be self confident without being arrogant. So there's that balance. So feeling like a giant, everything is just within my reach. I can reach the sky. And at this point, we'll probably play a clip. I think we're playing some of the clips at this point.
Yeah,
All right,
tune
so
in.
tune in and listen to that. ZZ Ward, feeling like a giant. Enjoy this short segment of that song.
For once, I'm a giant. Swing away, I'm never gonna drop. Shout and shake, I'm only under God. Can't get low, way up here on the top. 3, 5, 4, baby, I'm way, way up, way, way up. I'm way, way. For once, I'm the one. For once, I'm feeling so.
One of the things I absolutely love about that song is, like you said, she was confident, but there wasn't this intense ego. She's like, I'm right below God. Like,
Mm.
she knew she was like climbing over mountains and doing all of this stuff, but she still accepted her place under a higher power while still feeling powerful. And I think regardless if you're religious or spiritual or what you believe in, being able to also surrender to something bigger than ourselves is another great act of self-compassion.
Right. And again, it's also saying, even because no matter how big you are, don't let your ego get so big. Just because you're big does not mean like I'm better than someone else. You're confident, you feel good about yourself. That just makes you confident. It does not make you better than someone else. One of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. We're bringing in Twilight Zone. So, for just a little backdrop for people that don't know, Twilight Zone's a really old show that was in the '60s by
Black
this
and white, no
black and white
color.
TV by the creator Rod Sterling, who is a genius. Rest in peace. It had little 30-minute segments. Season 4 had hour segments, but pretty much each individual segment was its own story. None of them tied in together. You may have had recurring actors, but every story was independent to where every episode just had a twist on subverting expectations. So the one that I like is called The Little People. Two astronauts land on. I'm just gonna give you a quick synopsis. So two astronauts land on a deserted planet, and one of the guy he's done taking orders from the other captain. So he's like, I'm done. And he's like, what's your problem? Like, the captain says to his subordinate, what's your problem? He's like, well, I'm tired. I'm going to be the big person one day. So he finds a village of little tiny people. And, long story short, he's like, Captain, you get out of here because I'm their god. I'm bigger than them. They fear me. Look at the statue they built to me. And then he's like, you're sick in the head. The captain leaves. So this guy is here in his own ego. And then all of a sudden he hears a noise. A bigger ship comes by and it finds out he is the little person to someone else. And they accidentally squish and kill him. And then but again, he in that moment was like, I'm bigger than them, therefore I'm better and nothing is bigger than me, until you see like, oh, you're just another small speck. Everything's perspective. So just remember, no matter how big you are, you stay humbled and stay centered in your self-compassion, and watch Twilight Zone too. That's a plug for Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
episode.
Paramount Plus. Can we get a sponsorship?
Right, Paramount Plus, if they're listening, or I think if during Christmas and New Year's Eve they have the marathon on Sci-Fi for people that either
We
have
cannot have them. We cannot encourage people to wait a whole calendar year before watching.
or just like I said, you can go get it on Paramount Plus, and for our DVD collectors, I believe you can buy the DVDs out there.
Oh, DVDs.
You know,
Self-compassion is never recognizing that you age.
I didn't say like a record disc or a 45 or
An
a cassette, an 8
8-track.
track, I get it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience, even if they're millennials, years, they know what a DVD is. They may
All
not
right,
use
we're
them.
not that far from we still have DVDs, I think.
We still have DVDs, so yeah, check it out. But again, just what we're trying to say is, and again, we're here at the Whisper of the Wild Ones. We'll get off on tangents, but
We like
it's
to
fun.
roast each other. You just have like some front seats, front listening places to hear our inner dialogue, and also our dialogue just in our natural home.
That's true. This is our therapy with each other, So I mean, hey, we
Gentle roast.
gentle roast. So be kind to another, be self-confident, but don't let that turn into arrogance. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think that's what that song and can you say it one more time? It was ZZ Ward.
ZZ Ward, Giant. So pull it up on the YouTubes, on Spotify.
If you are actually anywhere that you're listening to this podcast right now, you can go to the show notes and see a YouTube link to ZZ Ward's Giant song.
The full song. We'll play a clip here, but definitely listen to the whole song and go check out her other stuff too. She's an amazing artist, independent artist, and definitely someone that I do admire in the musical industry.
I also, like, as we close out this musical muse moment, I also encourage, as we said, we sometimes roast each other. There is a new AI option on Spotify that says roast my playlist, and it takes all of the songs that you've listened to. I actually was hoping that they would roast me like before playing each song, like, oh, you've listened to Ordinary so many times by Alex Warren that it is not ordinary anymore. It's, it's toxic or whatever. I don't know what they would say, but I was hoping they would give me some commentary, but they will roast your playlist. And when you mix all of the songs together, it does kind of feel like a roast. Like, how do we go from Disney to Alex Warren to Hamilton to T Swift in one playlist? But If you're a Spotify user, go roast yourself and enjoy your good old fashioned
But
jams.
also too, even like the reason we do these musical muse is because music is another way to engage in self-care, to pause, to maybe you're listening to a song that makes you feel good or makes you want to work out. Like I said, like when I ran my 10K on that train, that what got me through besides just pure will is I had a playlist of just songs that were just like beat like 1 2 1 2, so it just kept my legs moving. I wasn't going to run a 10K to Adele. I like Adele, but I mean, you got to pick that
You got to
energetic
pick up the
song. You got to
pace.
pick your pace.
If you ran to Adele, you would get picked up by the balloon ladies at the end of the Disney race.
That's true. By the way, you run a Disney race and you're too slow, you get picked up. So I did not get picked up. I finished in the middle of the pack. Yay me. But yeah, so you just want to make sure, again, music is a powerful way. It's one of the reason that I love music so much, because it's my way of self-compassion and slowing down, because it doesn't matter what language you are or what language you speak or what race you are or what level of intelligence you have. Music is something you can communicate through everything, right? You see the studies where they say play music for your baby, or like you see the dogs or animals. There's this artist. I'm gonna have to, we're gonna have to link him up next time, but he'll play music for animals, lions, bears, tigers. Oh my, birds, and
Yes.
then but they just come and they just lay down, and they don't understand what he's saying. They don't understand the words, but they can hear the vibrations, and it just calms and tames them. So that's why we do the musical muse. Music, is a powerful tool that we can use to act self-compassion as far as slowing down and just, self-care.
And when we think about slowing down, we've talked about the voices in our head, we've talked about the need, the relational house. But one thing I think is really important to bring up is that sometimes we feel guilt around prioritizing ourselves. And let's be honest, it shows up when we try to do anything for ourselves, especially if you're a mom or someone who's like maybe really focused on productivity at work or focusing on giving to other people. You feel guilt for resting. You feel guilt for setting boundaries. You feel guilt for choosing you. But Marcus said it earlier, prioritizing yourself is not selfish, it is sustaining. You can't keep taking care of other people if you don't take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, you're not taking away from other people. You're just ensuring that when you show up intentionally, you show up whole, you're not depleted, you're not irritable, you're not cranky. And I got a great opportunity to experience this week, actually, because oftentimes when I plan things with friends or family, I will try to squeeze so much in. I'll take a supervision consultation on the phone. I will tell my family I'm going to step out to go have a session. And, I'm trying to juggle all of these things. But on Tuesday, I had the benefit of just saying, I'm not working today. And I went up and I got to see my sister. We did all these things together. And it felt so good to not be split in so many different ways. And she even thanked me for not having a bunch of interruptions so we could have intentional time together. And normally I would guilt myself for that. Oh, I could have seen X number of clients, or I had all this work, I had all these things. I could have posted our podcast sooner. But you know what? I got to show up whole, intentional, and that will be a day of memories that will last. Like we had such a good time. And so remembering when you take away, when you take time for yourself, you're not taking away.
Exactly, because rest, and it's crucial, because we've run ourselves into the ground at times. I'm talking about me and you just trying to get everything done, trying to play
Absolutely.
different roles, trying to play the hat of husband, wife, friend, neighbor,
Chef.
chef, cleaning person, whatever, IT person, we play so many roles, but the role we need to also play and put forth is, caretaker for yourself. Like take care of yourself. Because the big added, we were
What
going
an
to say,
interesting perspective. People never use the word caretaker for themselves. It's always for someone else, but how do you become your own caretaker?
right. So you become your own caretaker by making sure you get adequate rest, make sure that you are doing something fun, even if it's for 5 minutes a day. So watch a video of cats singing Macarena. It's a something that's gonna make you laugh, right? Just taking time to slow down. Again, we have this perception in our culture that time is money, right? So if you are not doing something, you are wasting time. Therefore, you are losing money. There's social experiment I did back in college where they said stand somewhere for 10 minutes. It couldn't be in an airport because, people, you might get arrested.
Yeah, TSA,
You
TSA.
can't be there. But somewhere public where there's a lot of people and, just don't write anything down. Don't have anything in your phone. Just stand there with your hands out of your pocket and just stand there and see how many people look at you funny. And guess what? A lot of people looked at me funny
I'm looking at you funny for suggesting it.
because what are you doing just standing there? Why aren't you doing something? That's our culture. And you know what? There's something okay to say. I get that there's a time to work, but there's also a time to laugh. There's a time to play. There's a time to cry.
There is a season for everything.
There's a season for everything. So that is what being your own caretaker is balancing the every season. It's not just work mode all the time because at some point your body's going to say like, I'm done, time out. If you do not get rest, your body will force you to rest.
Absolutely.
It through getting unfortunately sick or just breakdowns. You will rest one way or another, but it's better to control the rest instead of your body forcing you to. So that's why one of my favorite cultures is Spain. Can you guess why?
I think you may have shared it already about the
The
siesta.
siesta.
The
The
siesta.
whole culture shuts down for a few hours and they talk politics, they talk, news, they talk sports, and they
But I think they
just
get a nap. Don't they get a
you
nap?
get a nap too.
A
You just
nap.
no one's working. And what a shock, what a culture. But again, so just be mindful of the seasons of the day. Yes, get up, but before you start working, maybe get up a half an hour early and listen to a mindfulness meditation or draw in your journal. Do something for you. Caretaker. Be your own caretaker before you start the day. And at the end of the day, before you go to bed. Because during the day, you may be like, I'm too busy, but you're not busy in the morning and you're not busy in the evening before you go to bed. So take those mindful moments.
Just like a sports person would probably stretch, right? Like they have a big game ahead of them. They're going to be playing all day, but they don't forget to stretch before the game and they don't forget to stretch after the game. And this would be my plug to say I hope that the Seattle Seahawks stretch before the Super Bowl because that's who I'm rooting for.
Right? I know that we're good segment from mindfulness to football.
Football,
Let's
dun
go
dun dun
Seahawks.
dun.
Right? We're not really, I mean, we're rooting for a good game, but yeah, go Seahawks.
Go Seahawks. And may whatever team lose have great compassion for themselves and for their team because honestly, this sports season has been quite amazing and everyone has worked really hard and you're working hard. You're doing the damn thing.
And your best is good enough.
Your best is good enough. No matter what, even on the messy days, even when you feel behind, even when you're struggling to be kind to yourself, especially then, may you offer yourself the same compassion you would to your losing football team,
Mm.
the same compassion you would give freely to others. And remember, you are not meant to do this life alone.
And at the end of the day, if you say to yourself, you know, maybe I didn't do so well today, maybe I could have done better, then you what? Go into tomorrow and say, I will be better tomorrow. I won't, being better doesn't mean I'm going to be better than the next person. It just means I'm going to be better to loving myself, to trying a little harder. And it doesn't, again, you don't have to take giant leaps. just little steps of progress and building that strong foundation of self compassion and love.
And know that we have compassion for you. We know that things are hard. We have tried to maintain this platform as a way to support you through all the things. We may not always be as explicit with the things going on in the world, but we see you. We know you're struggling. We're there with you, and we have compassion for you. We ask that you have compassion for you, have compassion for others, and let's try to just bond together. Because, like I said, if we can have self compassion, then my hope would be that you can shed that self compassion on to someone else, and we can start to spread compassion back into the world to find that inner peace and outer peace.
And let us be your outlet. Let us be your outlet to let off steam. Let us be your outlet to get what's on your mind. Again, Susie does therapy. I do life coaching. So if you're like, hey, I want to get a little bit more insight on some life coaching, whether it be financial or just, life transition, I'm your person. Like I said, message me at marcusd@luminous-self.com. Just, or if you just want to just engage with us and have a little bit more conversation about, like, hey, I like that topic, I'm struggling here, message us on the comments, and we'll reach out. Like, this is what your platform is here for you, wild ones. We didn't start this because we just wanted to hear our voices talk. No, we want to
We
hear
have
from,
nice voices, though.
we do have nice voices, and that's a added bonus. It's like the cherry on top. But we
We do want to help you guys.
we added this. We made this podcast for you, the wild ones, to lift you up, to engage you, to encourage you, to say that you are amazing
You are enough and you matter.
and you matter, and we love you, wild ones. So that's what we're here to say.
And so, if you find yourself struggling to give yourself self compassion, or you can't get past those ruminating thoughts, or you're stuck in guilt, like Marcus said, reach out. You can hit us on the socials at Instagram at your underscore luminous underscore self. You can email. Marcus dropped that a little bit. You can
Comment in the YouTube
comment on the
section.
YouTubes. And most importantly, just spread that compassion out there. And we want to say, until next time, wild ones,
Welcome home.
welcome home.